Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. Nobody in Untouchable will ever hurt you again. Say it out loud. Let the words land. Let them settle in your chest like a promise you make to yourself. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. For too long you have let other people's opinions sit on your shoulders like stones. For too long you've measured your worth by the measure of other people's acceptance. For too long you let the past whisper lies to you in the dark. You're not enough. You'll never heal. You don't deserve peace. Those lies end tonight. This isn't about pretending the wounds never existed. It's about honoring the wound and deciding you will not be defined by it. It's about standing in the middle of your pain and declaring, with every breath you have left, that pain will not be the captain of your ship. You will be. Hear me when I say, strength is not the absence of fear. Strength is walking forward despite it. Strength is folding your hands around your broken pieces and building a foundation. Strength is saying no to the scripts that others wrote for you and writing your own lines, one stubborn, holy letter at a time. You are not what happened to you. You are what you do after what happened to you. Today you choose action over apology, courage over comfort, self-respect over self-doubt. Today you refuse to hand the keys of your happiness to someone who will drive you to the edge and leave you there. When someone tries to hurt you with words, with neglect, with cruelty, you will not collapse. You will rise. You will set boundaries. You will demand dignity. And if they cannot respect that, you will walk away with your head high, because the respect you give yourself is the standard by which others will learn to treat you. Now, go home. Look in the mirror. Don't flinch. Speak to yourself like the person you vow to be. Because every day from this day forward, you are protecting your peace like it is the most precious thing you own. You will guard your time. You will guard your heart. You will not allow the small things to steal the big things. This is a vow, not to be unbreakable, but to be unashamed, not to be untouched, but to be undefeated. When storms come, and you will stand in them rooted deeper than your fears, because you've learned to draw strength from the breaks, to harvest courage from the cracks. So stand up, raise your voice, claim your life. Say it one more time on purpose. Nobody and no shines will ever hurt you again. Mean it, live it. And let your life be the proof. When you speak words over your own life, something powerful happens. Too many times we whisper the pain, we whisper the doubt, but we never speak the promise. That is why declaring out loud matters. When you stand in your room, no audience, no crowd, and you look at yourself in the mirror and say, nobody and nothing will ever hurt me again. You are planting a seed in your own mind. You are reprogramming the voice inside that has been trained for years to expect hurt, to expect rejection, to expect pain. Words shape the atmosphere around you, but more importantly, they shape the atmosphere within you. When you declare strength, your body hears it. Your spirit hears it. Your future hears it. And with every repetition, you build muscle. The first time it might feel strange, it might sound hollow, like a line from a script you don't believe. But faith grows by hearing, and the more you speak it, the more you believe it. Eventually, what once felt like make-believe becomes your reality, because you've given your mind a new story to follow. You've taken the pen back from the hands of fear and handed it to your own courage. This is not just about motivation. This is about rewiring. This is about refusing to let silence be the soil where negativity grows. Every day you open your mouth and declare who you are pulling weeds, you are planting trees, and you are building shade for the days to come. That is the power of a spoken vow. It teaches your heart to listen. It teaches your fears to quiet down, and it teaches the world to treat you the way you've already decided to treat yourself. Would you like me to expand these other key points in the same large, flowing style? one by one, just like this. Pain is real, but it is not the whole story of who you are. Too often, people confuse the wound with their worth, carrying scars as if they are permanent labels stamped on their identity. When someone has been betrayed, abandoned, overlooked, or broken down by words and actions, the memory of it starts to whisper lies. This is who you are. This is all you will ever be. But that is not truth. That is residue. The wound is an event, not a definition. The moment you decide to separate what happened to you from who you are, you create freedom. You honor the fact that pain came, but you do not surrender the rest of your life to it. Think of it like weather. Storms come, winds blow, skies darken, but none of that changes the mountain beneath. You are the mountain, not the storm. If you let the storm convince you otherwise, you will shrink into the temporary and forget your permanence. So many people walk around wearing their pain as identity, repeating it to themselves until it feels natural. But healing starts when you say, "This hurt me, but it is not me." That shift doesn't erase the scar, but it transforms the scar into a reminder of survival instead of a brand of defeat. By choosing to see your pain as a chapter instead of the whole book, you reclaim authorship of your life. You stop being defined by the shadows and instead define yourself by the strength it took to walk through them. That is how you take power back, by refusing to answer to a name that was never yours, by refusing to let wounds become cages, and by stepping into the truth that your identity is bigger, brighter, and stronger than anything that tried to break you. Do you want me to move on and expand as key point 3 as S in the same powerful and lengthy style? Boundaries are not walls to keep love out. They are gates to protect love from being wasted. Too many times, people give and give until they are drained, thinking sacrifice will earn them respect. But all it does is teach others that their time, their energy, their kindness come cheap. To set a boundary is to stand in the middle of your life and draw a line, saying, "This far, no further." It is to declare that your peace is not for sale, your dignity is not negotiable, and your soul is not a playground for someone else's recklessness. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You will fear that saying no makes you selfish, that walking away makes you cruel, that protecting yourself makes you cold. But in truth, boundaries are the highest form of self-respect. They are the signal to the world that you know your value. And anyone who cannot honor that value will simply not be allowed the privilege of access. Boundaries are not about punishment, they are about preservation. Just as a garden needs a fence to keep out what will destroy it, your heart needs limits to guard what is precious inside. And when you practice enforcing those boundaries, you will discover something powerful. Real love, real friendship, real partnership, they do not run from boundaries, they respect them. The people who grow angry when you set limits are the same people who benefited from your lack of them. That realization stings, but it also sets you free. You no longer chase approval by bending yourself into shapes that dishonor who you are. You no longer tolerate disrespect disguised as closeness. Instead, you live from a place of truth, where the people in your circle are there because they honor the line you drew, and in honoring that line, they prove they are worthy of staying. Would you like me to now expand as key point 4 in the same deep, flowing style? Fear is one of the oldest companions of the human heart. It sits quietly in the shadows, whispering every reason you shouldn't move, shouldn't try, shouldn't risk. It convinces you that standing still is safer than stepping forward. But the truth is, fear only grows stronger in stillness. The longer you bow to it, the taller it stands. Courage does not mean the fear disappears. It means you refuse to let fear have the final vote. Every great breakthrough in life comes with trembling hands and a racing heart. Think of the moments that shaped you most. Were you calm or were you afraid? Were you certain or were you uncertain but moving anyway? That is the essence of courage, not perfection, not the absence of doubt, but the decision to act when doubt screams the loudest. Fear will tell you that you cannot heal, that you cannot walk away, that you cannot change your story. But each time you do something small in defiance of that voice, you shrink its power. One step, one call, one decision. It doesn't have to be massive to be meaningful. Action is the antidote to fear. Every time you choose action over paralysis, you build momentum, and momentum becomes confidence. Before long, what terrified you yesterday becomes a memory you smile at today. The more you practice, the more you realize fear never truly leaves, but it can be taught its place. It can be told, you can ride along, but you are not steering this wheel. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary, not by escaping fear, but by walking forward with it. Showing the world that trembling steps are still steps, and that progress made in fear is still progress worth celebrating. Do you want me to continue with key point 5S in this same expanded motivational style? So many of the battles we fight are not with other people, but with the stories we replay inside our own minds. From childhood, from heartbreaks, from failures, we collect scripts written by voices that were never meant to be permanent. Teachers who said we wouldn't amount to anything. Partners who tore us down to feel taller. Family members who compared us to someone else until we shrank. Over time, those voices dig in and disguise themselves as our own. We repeat them, and without realizing it, we start living according to a script that was never authored by our true self. To refuse toxic narratives is to recognize that just because someone handed you a script doesn't mean you have to perform it. You can walk off that stage. You can rip up the lines. You can write something entirely new. The power of your life lies in your ability to choose which words you believe, which voices you amplify, and which ones you silence. And silencing them does not mean they disappear. It means they lose their authority. When you stop rehearsing words of failure, when you stop replaying the tape of shame, you make space for a new dialogue to take root. You begin to speak to yourself differently, to expect differently, to act differently. You take control of the pen and start scripting a life aligned with your worth. And the beauty of writing your own story is that no one else can take that authorship from you unless you give it away. Once you reclaim it, you become unstoppable because you are no longer driven by the opinions, doubts, and lies of others. You are driven by the truth you've chosen for yourself. That is liberation. That is the beginning of transformation. Would you like me to move on and expand? Key point 6 in the same deep, extended style. Life has a way of breaking us open, sometimes suddenly, sometimes slowly. A loss, a betrayal, a disappointment, a failure. These moments feel like they shatter us, scattering the pieces of who we thought we were across the floor. And in the middle of that pain, it feels impossible to imagine that anything good could come from it. But the truth is, resilience is not born in comfort. It is born in the breaks. When something cracks, you are given a choice. Either let the pieces remain scattered or gather them to build something stronger than before. Every setback carries within it a seed of strength, but you must be willing to search for it. The lessons you learn in the storm become the wisdom you use in the calm. The pain you endured becomes the compassion you extend to others. The weight you carried becomes the muscle that makes you unshakable. Think about a tree battered by wind. Its roots grow deeper, not weaker. That is resilience. Every break is an invitation to anchor yourself further, to discover reserves of strength you never knew existed. And here is the beauty: those scars, those cracks, they don't make you less. They make you real. They remind you that you survived what was meant to destroy you. They turn your story into a testimony of endurance. Instead of hiding the places where life broke you, you carry them openly as proof that you rose again. You no longer fear the breaks. because you know they only reveal how much stronger you are capable of becoming. Resilience is not pretending you were never hurt. It is standing taller because you were, and realizing that every break was building a version of you that could not be shaken. Shall I continue with Vas key point 77 say in the same rich motivational expansion? Peace is not something that just arrives one day and stays forever. It is something you must protect, nurture, and defend daily. Too often, people lose their peace not because someone stole it, but because they gave it away without realizing it. Piece by piece, to arguments that don't matter, to negativity that doesn't deserve their attention, to people who thrive on draining energy. Protecting your peace is an active practice, a discipline you carry like armor. It means choosing what you let into your space, what you give your time to, and what you allow your mind to dwell on. It can be as simple as saying no to conversations that only stir up conflict, or as deliberate as creating routines that refill your spirit each morning before the world can touch you. Maybe it's walking in silence, journaling your thoughts, praying, exercising, reading something that lifts your spirit. Whatever builds you, you make it a ritual. These small daily acts are not trivial. They are the bricks that build a fortress around your heart. Without them, you are vulnerable to every distraction, every criticism, every storm. With them, you stand steady no matter what chaos swirls around you. Protecting your peace also means refusing to argue with people committed to misunderstanding you, refusing to carry burdens that are not yours to carry, and refusing to measure your worth by social noise. It is understanding that silence can be strength, solitude can be healing, and boundaries can be sacred. Over time, these habits become second nature, and your peace grows harder to shake. You begin to walk lighter, speak clearer, and rest deeper, because you know you have built a life where chaos may knock on your door, but it will never be allowed to live inside your home. Do you want me to expand as key point 8 the asin in the same deep and lengthy style? Walking away is one of the hardest lessons to learn because the heart always wants to stay where it has invested time, love, and energy. But wisdom teaches you that staying in a place where there is no respect is the slowest form of self-destruction. When people show you they cannot value your boundaries, your kindness, or your worth, it is not your job to convince them otherwise. It is your job to decide that their inability to see your value will not lower it. Walking away does not mean you failed. It means you finally understood your own strength. It means you have recognized that your life is too precious to be wasted in spaces that drain your spirit. At first, it feels painful, even unnatural, to leave behind what you once prayed for or fought for. But what you are really leaving behind is not love. It is neglect disguised as love, disrespect masked as closeness, and comfort that was never truly safe. When you walk away, you reclaim your freedom. You teach yourself that dignity is worth more than company, that peace is worth more than familiarity, and that your future is worth more than recycling the same pain. People who truly respect you will never force you to compromise yourself, worth just to stay connected. And the moment you decide to leave behind what cannot honor you, you create room for what can. Walking away is not running, it is rising. It is choosing to stop begging for scraps when you were meant to feast. It is proof that you love yourself enough to let go of anything that keeps you small. And once you learn that strength, you carry it forever. You never again stay in places that starve your spirit because you have seen the power of stepping out and stepping up into the life you deserve. Do you want me to now combine all 8 expanded key points into a full, flowing speech for you? And so, after all the battles, after all the lessons, after all the nights you thought you wouldn't make it through, here you stand, still breathing, still rising, still becoming. Every key point, every vow, every truth we've spoken tonight leads to this moment, the recognition that you are no longer at the mercy of what hurt you. The past has no chain strong enough to bind you, and the people who tried to break you have no power left over your future. From this day forward, you walk with a new fire, not because life has become easier, but because you have become stronger. Nobody and nothing will ever hurt you again. Not because pain won't try, but because you now know how to meet it, how to face it, how to rise above it. Carry this promise like a shield. Let it be the anthem you sing when doubt comes knocking. Let it be the ground you stand on when storms roll in. And let it be the light you shine for others who are still searching for their way out of the darkness. Your story is not over. It is only beginning, and it will be written in strength and dignity and in unshakable courage. Stand tall. Speak boldly. Live fully. Because you are free. Would you like me to take all the expanded points with this ending and weave them into Daziraza's one powerful, uninterrupted speech, so it flows perfectly for delivery?